Hello friends, I am Dr. Ashish Agrawat. Welcome to my channel Live Biochemistry. In this video, I am going to talk about the electrophoresis. So we will see in this video regarding the introduction, theory of the electrophoresis, instrumentation, types and clinical applications. So in introduction, it is a type of separative procedure which is widely used in the clinical and research laboratory. It is used to separate the complex biomolecules. Which are the complex biomolecules like carbohydrates, proteins, nucleic acids. So all the complex molecules, they can be separated with the help of electrophoresis, right? So this electrophoresis, electro means energy of electricity, while phoresis means to carry across. So by definition, it is a migration of the charged particles or solutes of any size in the liquid medium under the influence of electric field. So it is a very important definition you should remember. It is asked in the Viva also, it is also asked in the 1-mark question. What is the definition of electrophoresis? So by definition, it is a migration of charged particles or solutes of any size under the influence of electric field. This word is very important. Electrophoresis. So it has to be under the influence of electrical field. Under the influence of electrical field, there is a migration of the charged particles or solutes in the liquid medium. That is called as the electrophoresis. Now coming to the history, Arne Tiselius, he is called as the father of electrophoresis. He developed this technique first. Okay, so this is Arne Tiselius. So theory of electrophoresis: the biological molecules such as amino acids, proteins, peptides, nucleotides, nucleic acid, they possess the ionizable groups, and depending on the charge they carry, they move either towards the cathode. What is cathode? That is a negative charge electrode. And what is anode? That is a positive charge electrode. So if the molecules contain the negative charge, they will move towards the anode, and the molecules which carry the positive charge, they will move towards the cathode in the electrophoresis system, right? So like positive ions, which are called cation, they will move towards the cathode. So you can remember C for C. Cations will move towards the cathode. Cation is positive ions, so they will move towards the negative electrode, that is cathode. While negative ions, anions, that will move towards the anode. So you can remember negative N, so N. Okay, so anions, they will move towards the anode, A for the A, right? So remember again, cations that are positively charged ions, they will move towards the cathode, which is negative electrode, while anions, which is negatively charged molecules, they will move towards the anode, and anode is a positive charge, right? So molecules having similar charge, they will move towards the same direction. Like all the negative charge molecules will move towards the positively charged electrode, that is the anode. But because of the difference in their molecular mass, they differ in their electrophoresis mobility. Hence, based on the charge and mass ratio, there is a migration is different, and we can separate the molecules based on its charge and mass in the electrical field. That is the general principle of this electrophoresis, right? So they will move according to charge, or they will move according to the size. So you can see here the negatively charged particles, they will move towards the anode, while positively charged molecules that are cations, they will move towards the cathode, while anions will move towards the anode in the electrical field, right? Then based on the molecular mass, you can see here mice run faster through forest than elephant. Okay, so because they're smaller in size, so less the molecular mass, faster will be the mobility. Okay, faster will be the mobility in the electrical field. So small molecules will move faster, big molecules will move slower, right? And what is now ampholyte is the molecule that is either positively charged or negatively charged. So in acidic medium, they will turn to the positive charge. Like, as you know, acidic medium, that means pH is less, that means hydrogen concentration is more. So the molecules in the acidic medium will carry the positive charge, and so they will move towards the negatively charged electrode, that is cathode. While in alkaline medium, as we know, pH is increased, so H plus concentration will be less, H plus will be decreased, so they will be carry the negative charge, and they will move towards the anode, positive charge electrode, right? Now, what is the isoelectrical pH? So pH at which the molecule carry no net charge. So at isoelectrical pH, there will be no mobility because there is no net charge. So molecules have least mobility at that isoelectrical pH. And when our medium pH is less than pi, that means pi is more. Suppose pi for the one molecule, suppose it is 5, and the medium pH is 4 for the one substance, right? So as pi is more, and so pH is less, H plus is more, so the molecules will be cationic form and they will move towards the cathode. So when pH is less than pi, then molecules will move towards the cathode, and when pH is high than the pi, then it will be negatively charged and it will move towards the anode. Clear? So proteins, as they contain amino group that are positively charged, carboxyl group which are negatively charged, so they will have a different mobility in the electrical field. Same as like nucleic acid also, they are positively charged as well as negatively charged also. So they behave as ampholytes, and based on their pH, we can separate the molecule. Now, rate of migration of ions in the electrical field depends on the different factors. So which are the red factors? One is net charge, second is size and shape, third is strength of the electrical field, fourth is the pH of the medium, fifth is the property of the supporting medium, and sixth is the temperature of the operation. So all these factors, net charge, size, strength of the electrical field, pH, supporting medium, temperature, all will affect the migration of the molecules in the electrical field, right? So this electrophoretic mobility of the substance is directly proportional to the net charge and inversely proportional to the size. As we have seen, smaller the molecule will move faster, and big the molecule, it will move slower. Now coming to the various instrumentation, so it contains the different components. So one is power pack that will provide the electrical field, then electrophoresis unit proper. So these electrophoresis units, they are available as either vertical gel or horizontal gel system. Okay, so this is a module of this electrophoresis apparatus, where this is a power source. Then we have this is a horizontal tank, and two sides there is a reservoir for the buffer, and there is a wick, and this is a medium, supporting medium. It may be starch, agarose, cellulose. Okay, and we applied the sample here, and so molecules will run from the cathode, negatively charged, to the positively charged electrode, that is anode. Okay. So in this medium, the molecules which are negatively charged, right? So they will move towards this positively charged electrode. So coming to the vertical slab gel units, so they are routinely we use acrylamide gel, okay, that will allow the polymerization. While in horizontal gel, we use two reservoir which holds the buffer of platinum or carbon electrode, which is connected to the power supply and supporting medium. Also, we use wicks and cover to minimize the evaporation. Now this power supply, they will drive the movement and adjust. We can adjust the voltage and current accordingly. Okay, and it is very controlled, and it can be changed during the electrophoresis run. So this is the power supply. You can see here. This is the power supply. This is the voltage. This is current, right? And here this is a horizontal electrophoresis apparatus. So it is attached with this power supply. Now what is buffer? It is a mixture of weak acid and its base. Buffer will resist a change in the pH. So it will carry the applied current, and it will fix the pH. And mostly commonly used buffer is barbiton buffer. Okay, that is mainly used for the protein, while tris EDTA borate buffer is mainly used for the hemoglobin electrophoresis. So buffer's ionic strength will determine the thickness of ionic cloud, the rate of migration, and sharpness of the electrophoresis zone. Okay, so higher the ionic strength, then the solutes or migrate particles will have a less mobility. And when you lower the ionic strength, then the molecules will move faster. Okay, but it may affect the sharpness. Okay, so with increasing the concentration of ions, ionic cloud increase in size and molecule become more hindered. So restriction in the movement with the increasing ionic concentration. Okay, we use the high ionic strength buffer containing calcium lactate, which gives a high resolution. So this is the electrophoresis chamber. You can see here, this is a support medium like starch, agarose, or cellulose acetate. So one side there will be negative electrode, one side there is a positive electrode. So molecules will move from negative electrodes to the positive electrodes. Okay, you can see here. Now, what are the different support media? It provides the matrix in which protein separation takes place. So we can use agarose, polyacrylamide, starch, or cellulose acetate membrane. Okay, and they will separate the molecule. So there is a different property of each of these. So first is starch. It is a partially prepared product from the native starch, right? And it is not much used. It separates the molecule on the basis of mass to charge and molecular size, but it is rarely used in the clinical laboratory because of the proper preparation of the gel is relatively difficult. and requires a considerable skill. So that's why it is not much used. You don't remember that much. Coming to the cellulose acetate is a very important membrane that it is thermoplastic resin made by the treating cellulose with acetic anhydride. Right? It contains 80% of the airspace within the interlocking cellulose acetate fibers. It is an excellent separation and it is very important, but only disadvantage it can separate in within 1 hour, but only disadvantage it is a costly, right? Then agarose. So as we know, agar, it is purified essentially neutral fraction of the agar obtained by separating agarose from agaropectin. Okay. So agar is equal to agarose plus agaropectin. So agar minus agaropectin, that will be our agarose. It is a heterogeneous polysaccharide. Pore size in agarose gel is large enough for all the protein to pass. Okay, but it takes little bit higher times, like 90 minutes. Okay, and relatively good. It can separate protein, nucleic acids, RNA, DNA, isoenzyme, lipoprotein. So polyacrylamide gel, it is a thermostable, transparent, strong, relatively chemical inert, and depending on the concentration, it can be made into the different type of pore size. It is a very good gel also, but preparation is little complicated. Okay, and it can be hazardous also. Now, what is SDS page? Sodium dodecyl sulfate, polyacrylamide gel electrophoresis. Here, proteins are boiled for 1 to 2 minutes with a denaturant agent, that is sodium dodecyl sulfate. So, when we treat the proteins with the SDS, it provides the unique negativity charge around the protein. So, then only the molecule will be separated based on the mass only. Okay, that is the beauty of this SDS page. It mainly with a type of vertical electrophoresis, and it is mainly used for the molecular weight determination and assessment of purity of the protein. Only disadvantage that acrylamide, it can be carcinogenic. So here there will be stacking gel and reservoir gel, and here these are the bells in which samples are poured, and then molecules will run. Okay, small proteins will run faster than big proteins. Right. So this is also a diagram of this. So purity of the protein can be assessed and different molecular fraction can be attained. Nowadays there is automation system is available like Helena. Okay. So only thing that you have to do that only apply the sample and it will run around 100 samples together. So this is a automated electrophoresis apparatus. So here in general operation, what we do, we separate the protein, detect and quantify. So for the separation, gel is prepared and casted like agarose gel or cellulose acetate. 5 to 7 micro of the sample is applied via pipette or comb, and gel is placed into the electrode chamber. Okay, then electrophoresis is performed at a specific voltage, current, and power, and gel is fixed, dry, and then stained. Okay, and after staining, there is a destain, and we can quantify the protein molecule. You can watch my video about the quantification of agarose gel. Okay, the link is given also in the description. While for the detection, we first stain and then we quantify. Okay, so for the staining, before staining, we fix the agarose gel with the acetic acid and methanol, and then we use the different type of stain, that is serum protein. We use amido black. In comazepine blue, there is 2 types, G and R. Okay, green light has a green tinge and this has a red tinge. Then Poncy-US is mainly for the hemoglobin. Okay, amido black is mainly for the proteins. Silver stain for the CSF proteins also. Then for the isoenzyme, we use nitrotetrazolium blue, NTB. Okay, for the lipoprotein, Sudan red or oil red O, that is stain that is used, and also we can use comazepine blue I. Then DNA fragment, main important is ethidium bromide. Okay, and for nucleic acid also silver stain and ethidium bromide, CSF protein, silver nitrate stain is used. We can use quantification by the densitometer. Now, what are the different type of electrophoresis? So, depend on the nature of the supporting medium. It can be agarose gel, it can be polyacrylamide, it can be cellulose acetate, or it can be capillary electrophoresis. Depend on the mode, this gel, isolated focusing, polyacrylamide gel electrophoresis, that is phase or pulse field, or immunoelectrophoresis, capillary electrophoresis, high voltage electrophoresis. So, depend on the mode of the technique, these are the different types. So, when we separate the molecules, so suppose this is a negatively charged electrode, this is a positively charged electrode. So the most negative molecule, that is albumin, and which is a very smaller also, will move faster, highest. Albumin has the highest mobility. Then there is alpha 1 globulin, alpha 2, beta, and gamma globulin. Gamma globulin has a diffuse band. Right. Now coming to the immunoelectrophoresis, here it is based on the antigen antibody reaction. So precipitation arcs are formed where there is a antigen antibody concentration is 1 to 1 ratio. So this you can see here precipitation lines. Okay, these are the ways where antibody is there already, and when we apply the antigen, then there is a precipitation arc forms. What is high voltage electrophoresis? Usually the current is less than 250 volts. Okay, but here in high voltage we give up to 400 to 2000 volts. So higher the voltage, then it will move faster. But it can denature the protein, so we have to use the cooling system in case of high voltage electrophoresis. So when we run the sample, there is a due to heat, there is an evaporation of water. And when there is an evaporation of the water, there is a concentration of ions. And that will decrease the resistance and increase the conductivity. So if we see what is voltage is equal to current into the resistance. Okay, while power, heat is equal to V into I. Okay, so if we use this formula here, so P is equal to I square R, where I is the current, R is the resistance, or and I equal to, you know, that V by R. Okay, so it can be either P equal to I square R, or it is V square by R. So here it is asked what should be, we have to either constant voltage or constant current. So we can say here, as the resistance will decrease, so when we keep the current constant, with the decreasing current, there is a decreasing heat. So less heat is generated when we keep the constant current. Or if we use the constant voltage, then with the decreasing resistance, the heat will be increased and then will be diffused. Okay, so this is we have to keep. So ideally, constant current should be used in case of electrophoresis. In case of capillary electrophoresis, gel is taken in the capillary tube for the small bore and having the 100 to 200 centimeter in length. So bore size is 50 to 100 microns. So here there is a less surface area, so there is a less heat dissipation, and so cooling occur, and with the high voltage, the molecules are separated within the seconds or minutes. Okay, and nanoliter of range of sample is injected. So within few minutes, all components are separated. That is a capillary electrophoresis. So it is used for the separation of amino acid, proteins, drugs, vitamins, carbohydrates, nucleotides. Only disadvantage, it is costly. Then isoelectrical focusing, it is based on the isoelectrical pH. As we know, isoelectrical pH, the molecules have no charge, no net charge. So molecules will be, there is no mobility. So we can separate based on when we keep the molecules at their different isoelectrical pH. Okay, so the column is packed with the different ampholytes, which has a different so molecule at their isoelectrical pH. They will be remain at that time, and we can separate the molecule. So when this isoelectric focusing is important, when the molecule have a same charge and same molecular size also. In that case, we cannot separate the molecule. So we can separate based on the isoelectrical focusing property only. We can separate the molecule. That is the advantage of isoelectrical focusing. Now, pulse field gel electrophoresis. Normally, what happens? Current is applied in the single direction from negative electrode to the positive electrode. But here the current is altered at regular interval and power is alternatively applied to different pairs of electrode in case of pulse field gel electrophoresis. Then two-dimensional electrophoresis. Here in the first, we separate the molecule based on its isoelectrical focusing capability, and then we change the dimension, and then we based on the molecular size via the page, we separate the molecule. That is called the two-dimensional electrophoresis. Now, what are the clinical application of this electrophoresis? So we can separate the different protein and we can quantify them. Okay, so we can quantify the albumin, globulins, etc. And it is also used for the identification and quantification of hemoglobin and its subclass. It is also used for identification of monoclonal gammopathy like multiple myeloma. It can be also used to separate and quantify the lipoprotein. We can also separate the different isoenzymes. We can also use in elevation or deficiency of immunoglobulins. So we can mainly use in the multiple myeloma, nephrotic syndrome, sickle cell, cirrhosis of liver. So different disease pattern we can identify via the electrophoresis. So we will see in clinical aspect in few minutes. So now what is the normal pattern of electrophoresis? So albumin has the highest peak and it has the highest mobility. It lies closest to the positive electron. Then there is alpha 1, alpha 2, beta 1, beta 2, and gamma globulin has it is closest to the negative electrode. At the point of application, the gamma globulins are there. So here this is a this is cathode, negatively charged electrode, and here is anode. This is anode. So we apply the sample here, and albumin move faster, then alpha 1, then alpha 2, beta 1, beta 2, and diffuse band is gamma globulin. The concentration of among this protein albumin is to 70%, and next is gamma globulin, that is 11 to 22%. Okay, so this is, you can see electrophoresis pattern. So here there is a negative electrode, here it will be positive electrode. So when we apply the sample here, molecules will move. Okay, so this is the sharp band of albumin, then alpha 1, alpha 2, beta 1, beta 2. Okay, this is a normal electrophoresis pattern. Now this albumin fraction is decreased in case of decreased albumin, like malnutrition, nephrotic syndrome, cirrhosis of liver. While in case of dehydration, there is a hemoconcentration and albumin level might be increased than its normal level. Then globulin has a alpha fraction that is composed of alpha 1 and alpha 2. Alpha 1 is made up of alpha 1 antitrypsin, transportin, and TBG. It can be increased in case of malignancy and acute inflammation. while alpha-1 fraction is decreased in case of alpha-1 antitrypsin deficiency. Alpha-2 fraction is composed of alpha-2 beta-globulin, haptoglobulin, and ceruloplasmin. Ceruloplasmin is a copper binding protein, haptoglobulin is the bind with the pre-hemoglobin. So it will be increased in case of alpha-2 microglobulin, increase in case of nephrotic syndrome because albumin is decreased, so compensating globulin is increased. So alpha-2 globulin is a larger molecular weight substance, so it cannot be escaped to the kidney, so it will be increased. While decrease alpha-2 fraction in case of haptoglobulin, in case of hemolytic anemia, where too much RBC breakdown, hemoglobin will bind with the haptoglobin. So haptoglobin containing alpha-2 fraction will be decreased. Beta-2 fraction is a beta-1 and beta-2. Beta-1 is transferrin, beta-2 is beta-lipoprotein. Gamma fraction is mainly immunoglobulin. It will be increased in case of chronic disease like and blood malignancy like lymphoma, leukemia, or liver disease or multiple myeloma. Okay, so multiple myeloma, there is a monoclonal gammopathy, there is single M peak is there. Okay, so monoclonal gammopathy, there will be sharp spike band, and polyclonal, there is a diffuse band. In chronic infection, there is a polyclonal band will be there. In case of multiple myeloma, there is a monoclonal band will be there. In multiple myeloma, there is a sharp spike is formed and concentration will be more than 3 grams. It is just like albumin concentration, the M band will be seen. So that is a multiple myeloma is for you. Okay, that will help you to differentiate different type of monoclonal gammopathy. And multiple myeloma as such is a malignant, and we have to treat aggressively with the chemotherapy. Okay, you can see here normal, just like albumin band, there is the M band in case of gamma region. Now different diagnostic pattern in case of nephrotic syndrome, you can see that as albumin is lost, alpha-2 globulin will be increased and alpha-2 fraction cannot escape to the kidney capillaries, so it will be increased. In case of cirrhosis of liver, the albumin level will be decreased while globulin level will be increased. In case of acute inflammation, there is the inflammation of increased level of alpha-1 and alpha-2. Okay, then this is the normal pattern, this red is. Okay. Then chronic inflammation, that is the gamma globulin will be increased. And monoclonal gammopathy, just like albumin, there is a peak band in the gamma region. Okay. In alpha-1 antitrypsin deficiency, there is alpha-1 band is decreased. So this is all about the different application of the electrophoresis. So we have seen the definition. What is the definition? That migration of charged particles or solutes in the electric field. Okay. Theory of electrophoresis, like we have seen about the father of electrophoresis in Tiselius. Okay, various factors that will affect the rate of migration, like charge, size, pH of the medium, support medium, all will affect the electrophoresis. Instrumentation is the power supply, buffer, support media, agarose, cellulose, resilient membrane, polyacrylamide. We have seen the types of electrophoresis. And lastly, the application like nephrotic syndrome, there is alpha-2 globulin level is increased, while albumin level will be decreased. Cirrhosis of liver, albumin is decreased and gamma globulin is increased. In acute inflammation, there is a increase in alpha-1 and alpha-2. In chronic inflammation, there is an increase in gamma globulin. In multiple myeloma, there is an M band. In alpha-1 antitrypsin deficiency, there is deficiency of alpha-1 band. This is again, it is the electrophoresis apparatus. This is the cover. This is the here there is the support medium, and here there is a vertical electrophoresis apparatus. Okay, there will be one side there will be negative electrode, one side there will be positive electrode, and molecules will move towards this side. Okay, this is the hemoglobin electrophoresis picture. So when we apply sample here, the A band will move highest, then F, then S, and then HbA2. Okay, so if we see band in the A and S region, that can be sickle cell trait. Okay, if we see only fetal band in case of fetal hemoglobin, this is a normal pattern. There is a HbA and slight of HbA2 is seen. Okay, so again here there is a negative charge and positive charge. Molecule will move towards this side. If you see band in the A and S region, there is sickle trait. If you see band only in the S region, that is sickle disease. Okay, this is the master mix of A, F, and S, and this is a cord blood containing adult and fetal hemoglobin. So we can separate the hemoglobins, we can separate the molecules, and we can diagnose the disease. Okay, same here. This is a negative electrode. This is a positive electrode. So albumin, alpha-1, alpha-2, beta, gamma globulin. Right. This is again electrophoresis that I have made. You can also watch my video about hemoglobin electrophoresis procedure in detail. I will also share the description in detail. Okay. So thank you very much, friends, for watching this video. If you like this video, please hit the like button, share my video, subscribe to my channel, and press the bell icon so that you can get notification for my future video also. Thank you for watching. Bye.